everyone, hope you're doing so well, having an amazing week. And welcome to this video all about the oil paintings I'm working on this month. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new, and thank you so much for incredible comments on my last video. I know it's been a while, but I have some interesting things to show as well. So I've also been working on some watercolours, and I'm going to give like some plein air painting tips. And yeah, just talking about the materials I've been using, and hopefully it will be helpful for you. Incidentally, I feel like this is too low, this easel thing. I should probably raise it, but it doesn't rise that far. It sort of goes up to like there, so I should really have raised it actually. In terms of timeline, so basically I started off, since the last video, was this, which was, I don't know if you can see it properly, yes, I'm going to move back. This is a painting that I did at the Windsor and Eton Plein Air event. Now this happens every 2 years, and I've never been before. I was so excited because you get to choose, you get given a list of where you want to paint within Windsor Castle, which is pretty amazing. I've never painted there before. And then you are sort of given a time, which is, I think everyone sets off about 9. So it's a pretty early arrival time, if you like, because obviously lots of people coming from all over the place. I don't live anywhere near Windsor. And then you set off, they go, and you get pretty much all day to paint, and then there's like a gallery at the end of the day. And so this is the painting that I created, and it was really just such an amazing experience. I met so many wonderful and incredible artists. It was so amazing. I'm a member of quite a few painting groups now, and I've done quite a few painting events. I know so many artists that whenever I go to a new sort of painting event, it's like bumping into old friends. It doesn't feel as intimidating to me as when I started painting outside, because that really was like, for me it was quite scary. I think the first sort of official time I did it, I just was so nervous about people actually, like members of the public, looking at my art. And I think that that's actually what scares people a lot, is because they think, when people walk past, what will they think? Will they think my art is ugly? At least that's what I thought. And I've always had the most amazing reactions from people. So far, touch wood, no one has said that's ugly. Like, no one has actually looked at my painting and been like, that's ugly, that's hideous, nothing. They've always been very complimentary, or they've just made a joke, because I will have made very little progress. My plein air sort of tips and hints. One tip that I've learned is, and I'm by no means an expert on plein air painting, by the way, one thing I've learned is that it's better to get started quite quickly, because usually whenever I'm at a plein air thing, whether it's a meetup or a plein air event, because I'm bumping into so many people, other artists I've met before, I will start chatting away with everyone, and then before I know it, it will, like, an hour has gone and I have like done like 2 brush strokes. And so and also it takes me a long time to work out what I'm going to paint as well, so usually that's the reason why I end up being quite slow initially. And then I will always get people passing by looking at me and being like, you haven't even started, and everyone else is like halfway through their painting. And another reason why it's also important to start quickly is because the weather is always changing. So the amount of times I've been out, I've been painting, I've set up, and I'm like, yeah, this is perfect. And then, half an hour later, all of a sudden, it will start pouring with rain, and then it will stop, and then it will start again. And this has happened on so many occasions. My second piece of advice, which is always take an umbrella. I mentioned this in a previous video, my last video, and that is just, it kind of sounds like a no-brainer, but actually the amount of times where the weather forecast has said, totally sunny all day, don't need an umbrella, and then you get out there and of course it will just suddenly start raining, or it'll spit, or there will be like, especially even if you don't realise, like if you paint in London, you may get sprayed with water randomly. Like I distinctly remember standing next to the Thames. I was painting away really fast, and all of a sudden I just got sprayed with water. I don't even know where the water came from. It didn't even come from the river. So there you go. And I do hope you like it. It will be in my Etsy store most likely very soon. I just need to find a frame for it. So and obviously varnish it and everything. So just, yes, it's pending, but it's going to show you some smaller road with trees that is just very close to where I live. So I don't know if you can actually see the walker there that I painted in, and I just wanted to create that morning walk ambience, because obviously with summer coming and all the trees coming out and everything, you get that beautiful harmony. And even just seeing somebody walking around or being a walker yourself, you can sort of get that feeling of tranquility and the trees moving. It's something that can only be captured, I think, in really beautiful summer weather. Next up we have this little barn, and it is on a kind of field with lots of trees surrounding it. Like, once again, this is an area that is close to me, and I just felt like I had to paint it because it's such a, I don't know, it's, again, it's there's something unique about it, and I think it's probably the fact that it is the fact that it is kind of a hidden building. And you know, I always find hidden buildings in trees and things have a sense of mystery about them, and I've never even been in it. I just sort of see it from a distance, and I always think that would look amazing in a painting. And I was really lucky with the lighting actually on this occasion, and I tried to, it was actually quite a greyish sort of sky. And then we have the painting in the thumbnail, which is the sheep on a hill, and you can't have a landscape painting in England without adding some sheep, obviously, or seeing some sheep rather. And it's really easy for me to find sheep. I know sheep well. I know sheep fields well. And as I say, it's a really good place to start if you don't know what type of landscapes to go for and what type of things to paint. I would recommend people start with sheep and horses because sheep and horses are really easy to find, and they create a central point in your landscape so that you have a focus, and then you can start to build the painting around them. And they also look incredible in art, so they are so popular in terms of painting subjects, and also to, you know, see in galleries and things. You very often see these types of scenes. So yes, and there's plenty of sheep, as I say. I mean, I've seen so many of them. I'm more sheeped out. Next up we have a very hilly landscape from a distance, and I was feeling in the mood for romantic English hills, and I wanted to paint them in a very romantic way, so that's what I did. And I painted a similar piece just behind me, which I'm going to show you in a moment, but just is slightly bigger. And so yeah, so I really wanted to capture also the light in the sky, and I've only just varnished this actually, so this will be the next painting in my store, and this will be the final painting that I'm going to show you. And this is once again romantic, you know, moody, gloomy sky, and just the idea of running up those hills, you know, as you would in a sort of romantic story. Now onto the watercolours, and yes, they were on Arche paper because I have this and I've been fighting with it, like it's been like a forever battle. Myself and Arche, we have like we're a constant battle. Every time I think I am never going to use this paper again, I detest this paper, I go back and I use it again, and then I think that painting looks good, but why did I use this paper? It was such a struggle. Does anyone else struggle with this? This was a different paint out. This was with a group of friends actually from that I made along the way, along my painting journey, and it was so lovely because it was, as I say, it's a smaller group, but everyone is so kind and nice, and because I know them, it's really fun to go, and we just have a really chilled out painting session. And this was in a woodland, and this is the painting. I've got a couple of other ones in here, but these are the two paintings I created. So here we go. This is one that was by a pond, and then also this was also by the pond. The colour of the watercolours always comes out amazingly well on this paper. It comes out very bright, and I feel like there is an archival quality to this paper because it's pure cotton, so it is an excellent paper in that regard. It's very thick and weighted. However, it has a dry finish, a dry texture, so if you've ever used this paper, you will know what I'm talking about. Cotton papers come in all different forms. It's definitely not a case that they're all the same. They're definitely not, even though they are technically all made from cotton, but each brand has their own specific way of making them, and therefore they all come out different. So this is the cold press. I personally prefer cold press. Cold press one has a tooth. So me personally, I think that the papers that have the tooth, or the teeth, or the tooth, are actually in a way better because they have a certain amount of grip on them, so you can actually get very, very fine detail with cold pressed paper. This is the thing, so it's a bit misleading because you think, oh, hot press is really smooth, so that means more fine detail, but actually you can get fine detail with both. It's just that one has a grain. And I don't like hot press paper at all, but there may be one out there that is perfect for me. I have only tried a few and I find that my paint just like slips and slides all over the place. So Arches is not my friend either, but for archival purposes, and I always go back to it, so maybe I'm just nuts. As you can tell, I have rambled a lot. I do hope you enjoyed this video and that you like the paintings. Do let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on plein air painting? We'll see you soon. Take care, guys.